We're back with the third episode, or second episode,
Second, not third,
second of the second season.
the reborn. I like to consider this our first season because we're kind of like reborn now. We ditched the visuals. We're going just audio. It's different around here.
Yeah, for now, anyways.
And then blog posts to go with our talking. So,
Doing a whole different approach. But this week's topic is about sound and how it affects us and everything in that matter, the history of it, and different ways sound is utilized in past civilizations, and we don't even know. So, what's your initial thoughts on it?
different ways sound was utilized in past civilizations. I think this one's going to be a funny one because if you're going to come on this thing trying to convince me that sound could like cure ailments or something, then we're going to have a little bone of contention, if I do say so myself. But I think that sound can be very relaxing for some people. Obviously, it triggers certain dopamine receptors in the brain. That's why we listen to music and stuff like that. But I think that's just really what it is. It's just frequencies. It's how we communicate. It's how we express each other.
It's how we live.
Feelings. Basically, it's how we live. Yeah.
Everything's a frequency.
And that's pretty much all is a part of life. I would say that's what sound is.
So if it's a part of life, it should help us.
Well, yeah, obviously it helps you. You could listen to a sad song when you're going through a rough time and it helps you out. You could listen to the calming, Amazon rainforest ambiance and it'll help you sleep. Stuff like that. But I think there is a certain extent to where that help stops. And I think it stops at the mental one. It doesn't really have a lot of physical benefits.
Well, it might not seem like it. Sound might not be a physical helping device, but with studies, it has shown over an increment of time of you listening to certain frequencies and certain sounds, it could have a physical effect on you. And we don't even realize it either because our music is out of tone. Should be tuned to the 432 instead of 440.
Could you elaborate a little more on that? Because I remember reading the article. So 430 is
432.
432 people are more receptive to that than 440.
It's a golden ratio scale. All past civilizations used it. We switched over to around the Rockefeller period, and we switched over to 440. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there with 440 and a lot of other stuff too. One conspiracy is that like they use 440 to basically try to make people more upset, more depressed, basically utilize as like a war mechanism sort of thing to make it feel like war's okay and everything like that. It's convenient how it happened around the world wars, but that's not what we're going to get into. It's more, there's actual studies out there, you can look them up, official government websites, of how 432 toned music is better for the mental and the physical state of mind and body. It does help a lot. Believe it or not, they're studies. You could just look them up. I'm not going to list each individual study that's out here.
Can you tell me like an example of a way it would help both mentally and physically?
So mentally, you would feel more complete, and I know it sounds like an arbitrary term just to say, as you're more complete. But it makes you feel better. It makes you happier. It makes you overall wellness better as well, and your body like going into the chakras and all that. Your body like has these pinpoints on it.
What?
Chakras.
Oh, them things that the Hindu points of sound reception or some shit like that, right?
Correct. And this music is toned for that instead of 440. 440 is out of tone, even with our universe as well. If you look at the phi ratio, and
the fuck is a phi ratio? Isn't that like an entertainment store that went out of business? FYE.
No, it's It's like, you ever hear the golden ratio?
Yeah, that's what you just.
The phi ratio it's the same thing. Another term for it. But going into the chakras, but there's these ancient Buddhism and Hinduism. I think Hinduism it came from first. That there's like these points on your body where you play at a certain frequency and it will relieve illness from it, or it'll make your body more in tune with the universe. It sounds like pseudoscience and it sounds like, iffy, but, we never really dug deep into this before, and we're really rediscovering it about 100 years later because everything was pushed from the pharmaceutical industry of all these other drugs and everything. I just feel like there's not enough research out there in this field.
Pharmaceutical, what does it have to do with why our music is tuned?
Well, I'm talking about like the research and sound and how it could actually affect us and help us.
You need to list like the whole medical research industry as a whole. Yeah, they're pretty shady. But I just have one simple rebuttal to this. So Mozart, correct? He released most of his music before they had this little pitch change, right? Before the ratio change.
Yes.
Okay, so why isn't, if this is true, why aren't the current generations, and hell, even generations past that from like the 50s, 60s, any generation past the Industrial Revolution, why aren't they more receptive to Mozart music rather than something like the Beatles or Def Leppard or modern day hip-hop music?
Because, okay, your friend's listening to modern day hip-hop music.
Yes, they fancy Lil Baby and Uzi a lot.
Yeah, I'm saying that people like music that is currently out there and tune the styles of music change as time goes on. Personally, I don't think I would listen to Mozart over some certain types of music.
I know you definitely prefer Kanye and Uzi over fucking Mozart. So we're not getting that twisted, but go on.
But yeah, there's just different types of music. If you tune hip hop music to 432, it does sound better. I listened to a video today, where they tuned Runaway Kanye to 432. I actually tuned it myself. I can't even say it. I didn't even watch a video on it. I tuned it myself.
You're doing it yourself. Why are you trying to give other people credit for something that you did? That's like if Nikola Tesla was begging to give fucking Edison credit for the light bulb. Like,
yeah, that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, but no, go on to what you were saying. So you tuned Runaway to 432, and now is it better?
I could hear the different frequencies. So, like, for example, if I play frequency 528, which is like the universe frequency they call it, I could hear that in the notes in Runaway, and like all these other chakra frequencies, I could actually hear them and pinpoint them because I listen to these frequencies for a long periods of time. So I know what they sound like. It's like when you're playing an instrument, after a while you know like what note you're playing, what note it is, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually could hear the difference in it. And people, there are blind tests out there, double blind tests out there where people were tested between 440 and 432 music and which ones sound better. And statistics show that 432 sounded better and made the person more happier as well in a double blind experiment, which is pretty significant in my opinion.
I guess it is significant. I think there probably be more tests run on stuff like this.
I agree.
But my question is, why isn't, if this is true, right? I understand it may be not as beneficial to stuff like the pharmaceutical industry or something like that, but it could be very beneficial to the entertainment industry and the music industry. And when you see the way music is going recently, I don't know if you know this, but with Spotify and other streaming services like that taking over, artists are making a lot less than what they use. Unless you're like a big artist like The Weeknd or Taylor Swift, where you're selling out every tour venue or anything, you're making a lot less than what you used to be making, when people were buying the songs they wanted to listen to or buying the albums they wanted to listen to. So in an industry that's kind of clawing like the way the music industry is, why haven't they taken advantage of something like this if the science and the studies are so significant that point towards the positives, do you think? What do you think the biggest reason is?
It's just the music they're brought up into. Possibly, there's a bunch of different factors. Most of their instruments are tuned to 440, and most of the instruments are tuned to 440.
It's true.
And everybody knows how to utilize 440. I don't know. I really think musicians should really look into this.
You think it could help benefit a lot of them?
To an extent, I don't think it will make someone that sounds awful like incredibly better,
but it could help. It's kind of like
image gener. It's kind of like the new Photoshop tools that are coming out every day for artists.
Or then, a more pop culture example. It's kind of like T-Pain. T-Pain could sing. No one argued that. But once he started incorporating auto-tune heavily, and he was the first to really mess with his voice and mixing and stuff like that, in modern pop music, he got a lot better, and he saw a lot more commercial success because it just sounded better. Now, you do have to have, like you said, that baseline talent, but do you think that, like, for young, struggling musicians, you think this is a way they could break out, maybe? Help them stand out a bit?
Oh, definitely. Definitely make them stand out. There's no really big artists out there that are using 432. I was listening to some, like, there's this one Italian artist I listened to. Big in the piano, really good piano and, like, instrument guy. But he has every album he comes out with a 440 version and a 432 version, which I thought was pretty unique.
That is pretty unique. So it's definitely a different way of doing it, because not only it also lets people who are not as familiar with the frequencies know that here's the 440 version, here's the 432. Look how much better something like this sounds.
And there's an example of all this in the blog post, a YouTube video. Forget this guy's name.
And looking at the guy's name.
And not looking at it directly. It's Paul Davis. Yeah, he's 3.2 million.
Paul Davids.
Paul Davids.
Yeah, Davis and Davis, two different last names.
But he does a really good comparison. It's a really good video. Again, it's linked in the blog post. Even in these comments, it even says, like, 440 felt draining. Holy crap. 432 felt like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I'm not denying that this makes music sound a hell of a lot better. The thing that really gets me is
how can it heal?
How can it heal? How? Like,
there's personally not enough studies out there. I read somewhere where just one guy, again, it's through a Reddit post, so it's not too credible.
Yeah, I've read a lot of Reddit posts about certain things that I doubted.
Well, this is just a story as an example. I read some other things other places, but there's this guy over in Europe, I think in France. This guy had cancer or whatnot, right? And he went to this guy and he used frequencies. It's a little different from sound, but he used frequencies, different type of frequencies, played certain sounds, and over a course of 90 days, he was cancer-free. It's like treatment, like chemotherapy, but like you got to treat it every single day for a certain period of time for it to actually do wonders. You just can't it's not like how it is now where you just take a pill and it goes away magically. This, you got to actually sit down, listen, let your mind calm yourself down and go through like a therapeutic remedy kind of thing.
I think I get what you're saying. So there's two issues with that. One, was that the only treatment you was taking?
Yes. There's this other YouTube video where this guy goes in a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk video. He basically kills cancer cells with the resonance frequency as well, which I thought was very interesting too. Because there's a bunch of these studies coming out.
Maybe it could inspire the immune system some way to attack these cells in a different way that it
ignites them, yes.
But what also does that is, like you said, the pills, the chemotherapy, something that's much more not only convenient for the patient, but more readily available. So,
but they don't realize the side effects of it.
They don't realize the side effects of it, obviously. But in today's society, it's very hard to pitch people on quick-term solutions, long-term solutions that work better than, you know, a quick fix like an antidepressant medicine or something like this.
That's why our whole generation
Is on antidepressants, you know.
and bankrupt pretty much too, because they just spend their money as soon as they get it.
Exactly, because they don't have anybody talking to them about their money problems and something like that. All right, that's why I feel like psychotherapy is something everybody can benefit from, especially when it comes to younger generations, because there's a lot of things you're doing that you don't realize how they're affecting the bad things in your life, you know, how they're contributing to them until you have someone saying, no, you're being a fucking moron by doing this. You need to change your ways. And then it's up to you to actually apply it. It's not, let me take a pill and, oh, I feel better for the day. That's why I've always refused Prozac. And the dark as my times have gotten, I've always refused Prozac or other antidepressants. Why? Because I know it's always better to work through it. You're going to have a more stable life once you get to the other side, and you won't be chemically reliant on something. It's trying to quit heroin by, instead of shooting up a dime bag a day, you start shooting up half a dime bag a day. And that's what it is.
It's very good. It's a very fair point. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we get sidetracked, but people take shrooms and other psychedelics to deal with that stuff as well. Helps PTSD as well, and other
and it's like,
like that.
And it's like,
they're all natural remedies.
Like you alluded to earlier, though, is not going to make as much money as the other drugs, and it's not as quick and instant as the other drugs are. So people, even with this available, even with it out there, if it does become more well known, there's going to be still a large, I would assume, the large minority going the traditional route. And that's what's sad about the medical industries. We're so ingrained, we have it so ingrained in our head that this is the way we get treatment. This is what we need to do, that like it's going to be impossible to kind of break that, especially in this generation.
We don't know how to, self-heal ourselves. Meditating as well helps as well, and other ways, like you said, as well. Very well put. There's another thing too. I was watching a video today of this guy. He could speak pretty much perfect language. You guys try to know him if you're on YouTube, but you could learn any language in like a few weeks or even a day. He's really smart with that. But he went down the Amazon rainforest, and there's like all these natural remedies that they do for everything. The one really surprised me. The one they use breast milk to cure an eye infection, which is weird. I know, it's weird. But there's so many plants in the Amazon rainforest that this guy, they really brought out, they're like, oh, I got a rash. Oh, here's a plant for it right here. This blah, 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 blah. It does X, Y, and Z.
As you said, this guy pulled up with his wife and said, oh, you got a rash.
Oh, yeah.
Don't.
He did do that to the eye infection.
He just said, yo, bitch, come over here. Start squeezing some milk on this guy's eye. And that's what he said.
Well, no.
I mean, I'm assuming that may not been the exact dialogue he used, but that's what happened.
Yes. And then you
have to put it in a little container before they use it on the eye, and that's like.
Here's another cool thing I found about this. We're going to off topic from sound, but
our podcast is we got to transition from topic to topic. Well, we'll wrap it back around the sound. But go on.
Yeah, because I know how we will. But they also had a kind of beer they fermented off of their own saliva. At surface level, it sounds disgusting. It's whatever, disgusting and whatnot. But they let it sit for a few days so it actually gets fermented and stuff like that.
All alcohol sounds disgusting.
I know.
It's fucking expired fruit. Ew.
But here's the thing. With this, they don't realize what they did. There's probably so many probiotics in it from everybody else's saliva in the whole entire tribal community.
Diseases could also get in there as well.
Well, it acts as a probiotic. So there's a bunch of bacteria, like all these biotics in it. And you basically drink it, and you're basically protecting yourself. And
they're in your immune system, kind of like how vaccines do.
Yeah, and I think they're doing it indirectly without even knowing. I picked up on this, that I was like, holy crap, they're just all spitting into it. I'm like, wait a minute, it could be a probiotic.
It could be a probiotic, but it also, too much of a disease becomes a fucking disease.
I agree, but they've been doing it for so many years now. And
there hasn't been one person that drank some of that and they started vomiting the next day.
It probably did, but
so I mean,
it still worked though.
I need levels of biotics confirmed to the point where they're not harmful before I start partaking in something like that. That's why a lot of these tribal people,
I feel like we've got to learn from.
You got to learn from, but they also got to learn from us as well. You can't just be spitting in a fucking like circle and let it expire. Let's sit for a few days and you drink it. Like, no, you got to run tests to make sure all that shit stays first.
Yeah. But going deeper into sound, this is the Mayan tradition, the architecture of it. There's this one pyramid. I'm gonna butcher chicken itza. That's chicken and itch. I don't know.
Wait, let me take a stab at it.
Ancient city. This is the city.
Sashin Itza. Yeah, I don't know. It's in Mexico though.
El Casero Pyramid, or the Temple of Kupu.
Jesus Christ. Just say Temple of Kukulin.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce many of this stuff. It's a lot of, not English words.
Translated into English.
Yeah. But you clap at the base of this pyramid, and it chirps like a sound of a quetzal bird.
The fuck is a quetzal bird?
It's a bird native to the area.
So that sounds like an enemy in Legend of Zelda.
No, it's very significant in their culture. It symbolizes freedom and wealth.
So it's kind of like the bald eagle for us.
Yeah.
So you think if we had a temple in America?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these ancient civilizations could have used sound, and they did use sound in many of their practices, but they probably used it in medicine as well and help their body.
And it could be used in our medicine, but I think you got to realize modern medicine's a lot better than that. Proven by life expectancies and a lot of elements of modern medicine. Like I said, the money that's in it and the shady politics that go on within it, yes, that's worse than how they had it back then, but the technology itself, baseline, is better. So if we can adopt their mindset and some of their principles and combine it with the technology of modern medicine, I think that medicine could go a lot further, but I don't think we need to revert back to when motherfuckers were only living to age 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing on that. But this is very significant too, because they created a pyramid that is a perfect bird sound, but we can't even do that to this day. So
that is quite the marvel, isn't it?
Because you could literally clap at the base pyramid, and you got to face the pyramid in order for it to happen. If you're not facing the pyramid, it doesn't happen.
You don't think that America, if we invested enough, we can make something like that and then bald eagle screech at us?
I mean, probably could. Not disagreeing on that.
We just gotta hum some words to a Luke Combs song. We just hear a bald eagle. That'd be kind of relieving for some Americans, don't you think? It's definitely the American version of that.
It's pretty much it. We have then last time, sound levitation.
What the hell?
It sounds like pseudoscience, but we could do it in a lab.
You could levitate from sounds?
You could levitate objects. Yeah, we could levitate objects with sounds.
How the hell? You don't need to explain this one to me.
Basically uses a technique of standing waves. Sound waves vibrate in one place rather than traveling from one place to another. So you're trapping the sound waves in a closed area kind of thing.
So it's kind of like if there's a bunch of boom boxes in one little closed room and they're huge. It's kind of like that episode of SpongeBob when he had all those boom boxes and they were playing the Jellyfish Jam and he was getting bounced around by the boom boxes, like sound waves. This kind.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess in a more simple. That's that I could see. Just the way you made it sound, just start going out, and then pencil starts elevating from the depth.
Here's the thing: there's an account of this one doctor that went to this monastery or this monk place, overseas, obviously not in America, but he account this where he helped the tribe out with modern medicine. I forget the exact what he did, but he brought Western style medicine over there to help them. And they showed them levitation with one of their rituals, how they levitated a rock and it literally slingshot the rock. It was kind of crazy, but they were lined up in a concave sort of thing, sort of way. Do you know what a concave shape is? Like a satellite dish?
Yeah. I was assuming it was something like that, like Coliseum, arena type shit.
Kind of like a satellite dish.
Yeah.
But if you look at the satellite dish from above, it looks like a smiley face, kind of. They're arranged like that with the stone perfectly in the middle. Everything was aligned perfectly, he said. And they started chanting and playing instruments, all different frequencies. Nothing happened for the first, 3 minutes or so. But then, all of a sudden, it just started levitating and then just flew away.
Jeez. I mean, if this is true, it certainly is very interesting and captivating. But
there's also another story, a more recent case, as Marie says, 50 years ago or a little more, but happened in the United States, actually in Florida. It's called...
Wait, so when did this first case happen?
Oh, this is over 100 years ago.
Well, that shit ain't real then, because I don't believe in fucking Wilt's 100-point game. Why would I believe in it? I need to see some video. The fuck, I'm Gen Z, bro.
Yeah, no.
Let me hear about this more modern example.
This is called the Coral Castle. Apparently, look at these stones. They're all one big stone.
Dude.
All done. I forget the exact date. Let me look up the date.
All this shit is all we need to know. Very goddamn old.
Oh,
BC?
No, it's over 50. It's only 50 years old.
Oh, so 60s.
Yes, and
newer than the
1923 to 51.
Oh, so it's older than the Tutti Frutti song by Richard.
He did it. His name's Ed. He refused. He did not work on this during the day, and he owned many, many big sound equipment devices and sound devices. And he even claimed in an interview that he saw levitation, but he would not work during the day so no one could see him, and he only worked at night. And he built this at night. There's features in here where he made a door, and the door's over a ton, and it moves perfectly, and it spins perfectly too.
Because of the sound?
No, but I'm saying he picked up all these rocks from the ocean, and without trucking them there or anything, he just used levitation. That's what they said.
I mean,
well, I'll see how far away it is.
That's what he says, bro, but is that what he actually did?
Well, there's many accounts of teenagers trying to see him at night do it.
And they just see him fucking raving, pulling rocks out of the ocean, Azarath, Montreal, Zinthos, and dropping them on this castle.
That's what they're saying. They're literally saying, look at this, more than...
I want to believe this.
More than 1,000 tons of coral. More than 1,000 tons. Look how far away it is from the ocean.
Yeah, that explains why it took him 28 years. Damn near 30 years.
There's no truck back then.
What the fuck is there? Was it 1920s? No, actually, early 20s there probably was. But towards the end, he definitely probably got some help. There's no way, Nathan, I need to see some better proof other than this story that this guy was literally avataring rocks out of the sea and onto the goddamn castle that he built. It's Lego.
He was 132. He was a small guy. He was 5'3". And he was the only person that worked on this.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to, do you know where I'm coming from? It is hard to believe. You remember playing Lego Star Wars when we were younger? Remember we were oh, imagine it'd be how cool if we could actually move that rock out of the way by using the force. It's hard to believe someone actually did that.
It is, because, we were brought up on pulleys and leverage and That's what we were brought up on.
You think if we were brought up on levitation, this technology would be more advanced today?
Saying that there's other technologies out there that we don't know about and we don't pursue because there's not enough curiosity in it and not enough interest in the public.
This is definitely interesting.
There's also experiments back in the day too where they used high voltage back in the 40s to basically levitate objects. A lot of Nikola Tesla era too.
Okay, so why don't we what's the benefits to levitation versus traditional pulleys and stuff like that? And aside from it being cool as shit, and you feeling like you can move the ground up from the earth, but what are the benefits of it?
Yes. We don't need machines. A lot of machines.
And that's probably why. And another big industry is the motor industry in America, especially back in those times, the Tesla times and stuff, when people were really starting to find out about this. And in this guy's era, the motor industry was huge. So, of course, they went more into that versus something like this. But I
think we're seeing a lost century of technology. But that's a whole different topic, and we're getting off topic again.
It's just difficult to believe, definitely, but it's definitely worth doing some deeper diving into.
It's very difficult to believe.
Mm-hmm. But hey, if you guys want to go do your own research on this shit, we got this article here, and not only that, there's probably Nathan was looking at them as we were talking there, and a bunch of them are online. Read into this stuff, really figure out if this guy turned into Obi-Wan when he was moving the fucking rocks, because that would surprise.
That's pretty much it for this week. A lot of sound. Next week, I don't know what we're talking about yet. We got to find another topic.
We'll figure something out. If you can't figure something out, I'll figure something out. Trust me. All right. See y'all. Have a great week.
See you guys. Thank you.